Okay, so welcome back in your continued work in your finance courses. For all my finance classes, I mentioned in the syllabus that I only support the BA2 Plus calculator. So what does that mean? It means that you can use any financial calculator you want to, but if you get jammed up and need additional help, you're going to have to look to the user manual for additional support. I cannot help you work through all the issues with all the different brands of financial calculators that are on the market today. I selected the BA2 Plus calculator because it is relatively easy to work with, and it's one that you'll be able to use throughout your entire academic career. In my own studies, I ended up buying several different types of financial calculators depending upon which class I was taking, and I found it to be an added expense and a general waste of money. That is why I use the BA2 Plus in all of my classes, but you're free to use any calculator with which you feel comfortable. So let's take a look at the basic setup of the BA2 Plus. First of all, you'll notice that I have an older model of the BA2 Plus, and you'll also see on the internet that there are still older versions of this classic available, and they all work basically the same. So do not let the physical appearance of the calculator interfere with your use of the videos. If you do find that there are some significant differences, please let me know. You will see that there are basic calculator functions available up the right side of the calculator, and there is also a plus minus key so that you can easily switch between positive and negative numbers. Right above the number pad, you'll see some basic algebraic functions that may come in handy, and you can set up a problem using parentheses with this calculator. So let's work the problem 4 times 3 plus 7. Now, in order to enter this problem into the calculator, you would enter a 4 and then the multiplication sign, the left parenthesis, and then you would enter 3 plus 7, and then the right parenthesis and an equal sign, and of course that's 40, and that's the correct answer. Now, another feature is the exponent key, which you will often use when calculating the time value of money. Anytime you need to raise a number to a power, you can use the y to the x key. So let's work the problem 5 squared. Now, we know that that answer is 25, but to enter this equation, you would enter 5 y to the x, 2 y to the x, and your answer should be 25. Now, the percentage, the square root, and the square buttons all work the same on this calculator as any other calculator. But if you ever need to put a number in the denominator under 1, you can use the 1 over x button. So let's take an example. Take the example of the 5 squared, which we just worked out in the previous problem. And let's say that after arriving at the answer of 25, you needed to put 25 in the denominator. You could use the 1 over x button to do that. And that would give you the answer of 0.04. And this comes in handy as well when working with the time value of money calculations. Now, the next row of buttons I want to explore are the time value of money keys, which you will see referred to in the textbook. Now, the TVM keys are the N, the I over Y, the PV, the PMT, and the FV. As we go through the textbook, you'll begin to understand how these keys are used, but for now, let's just look at each key individually. N is the number of periods. I over Y is the interest rate per period. PV is the present value. PMT means payment. And FV is future value. Now, there are two important things to remember when working with the time value of money keys. These keys store information. So anytime you're changing problems or you're consistently getting different answers with each calculation of the same problem, you may need to go back and clear these keys out and start over. And the way we do it is a two-step process. First of all, you'll hit the second button, which switches you to the functions in yellow on your calculator. So to clear the T and V keys, you'd hit the second button and the clear TVM key or the FV key. And that'll clear out your time value of money keys. The second part of the process is to make sure that your work is cleared out, and you accomplish that by hitting the second button and the CE over C key on the lower left, which is also your clear work button. And you need to commit this to memory because it will save you a lot of headaches later on in the class. And one of the easiest ways to struggle with answers is to have your calculator set to too few decimal places. Now, my personal preference is to keep my calculator set at 6 decimal places, but I would not recommend that you leave it set to anything less than 4. To change the number of decimal places on your calculator, you should hit the second button and the decimal point, which is also the format key. And you'll see the screen will say DEC equals and some number will appear. In this case, it's 6. If you want to change the number of decimal places, enter the number you want. In this case, I want 4. So I hit the number 4 and the enter button on the top row, and then I hit the CE over C key. Now you can check to make sure that your calculator picked up the decimal places by hitting the second button and the decimal point again to make sure. And I'm going to change mine back to 6 decimal places because that's the way I like it. And I can go back and check it and see that I've reset it to 6. Now, there are a lot of features on this calculator, but we've been over the basic ones. As we advance in the finance courses, we will go into greater detail on the other buttons as they're needed.